Right, I've got my eye on the clock. It says 12:30, so if everybody settles down, we'll make a start. The first thing I have to do is read this out. I am obliged to inform you that this meeting is being videoed. Members of the public are entitled to record the proceedings and are requested to give prior notice so that any additional measures that may assist can be put into place. Any member of the public, however, who has any concerns should raise them now. Right. Item 1, apologies for absence. I think we've got a full house, haven't we? Item 2, disclosable pecuniary interests. If anybody's got anything, shout as we go through the agenda. Item 3, the minutes. Everyone happy with the minutes, that they're correct, and I can sign them? Right, okay, thank you. Item 4, public question time. I don't think there are any public questions. Now there should be an item that actually says member questions, and Andy Boddington has put a question in about draft car parking strategy. There is a response. I can't see Andy here, so I'm assuming he hasn't got any follow-up to it. So there is an answer there for anybody. If the press need it, just shout and we'll provide it for you. Right, everyone happy with that then? Item 5, scrutiny items. I don't think there's anything for scrutiny at this stage. Item 6, Treasury Management Update Quarter 4. It says David Minery, so David, you can start.
Yes, thank you. Chair, actually I'm not going to say anything about this. It's a regular report. James has all the background information in his head, which I don't, but it relates to the period up to the end of March, which was at that point nothing to do with me. So the recommendation is just to accept the report, which I'm happy to move, but if James needs to say anything extra, he'll have the opportunity to.
Nobody else on that, thank you.
Yeah.
Chairman?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Chairman. Couple of queries, and it may need something following up, I'm not sure. But looking at it, and the 0.48%, by my calculation, that means we had £91 million invested in cash available to use in the last quarter. That and £152 million in investments. Note also, which makes £243 million that this council had got during that period, if I'm correct. And if I've worked it out correctly, £86 million of those investments have been repaid since April. I'm not sure where they've been invested since, but I also see that the capital investment that this council made in 16-17 was zero. Am I correct, please?
Are you using the microphones? Thank you.
Okay. In terms of the cash balances, they will vary from month to month over a period of time, and will move between roughly 120 million up to 170 million at any point in time. That's based on the level of cash that we're holding, capital receipts that come in that haven't been spent, reserves that are due to be spent that haven't been spent at that point in time, grants that come in, and it's offset by the payments that we're making on any particular day or week. So what we do is we invest whatever funds are available in the bank at any point in time, in institutions, banks, building societies and other local authorities that have a credit rating of A or above, and those investments are from overnight right the way through up to a year. So at any point in time we're going to see those investments changing and moving backwards and forwards. So it won't be a case of sort of repaying that income, repaying that debt. It's just a case of an investment happening to be for maybe a week, and then that cash will come back and we'll reinvest it for a period. Obviously what we're conscious of is money flowing in, salary payments at the end of the month going out. We have big fluctuations in in the cash, we have to make sure that cash is available in the bank or being invested when it's not necessarily needed at any particular point in time. In terms of your second question, can you just clarify what you mean in terms of the of your question as capital investment?
Capital investment on page 10 of, in Appendix B, which is page 19 of the papers. If I look at the budgeted period 7, 15-17, 0. I'm not sure. Is that just period 7 or is there anything else? Because the one before that is 15-16, 14-15, 13-12. So is that for the year or not? Which shows a big 0 for capital investment. And then for this current year, it says period 7, I think, for 16-17.
Sorry, are you referring to appendix?
It's this page here.
That page. Can you explain how much capital we've actually invested of our capital? We've got £243 million. How much are we actually investing in the future, or did we invest?
Okay, so what this page is showing is the...
Press your button.
So what this page is showing is the capital investment that we undertook as a result of potential borrowing approvals. So where we had to undertake some form of borrowing to fund particular schemes or whatever, those are shown on here to demonstrate the expenditure in those areas. What we have done, because a lot of this relates to prior periods, we changed the policy and moved towards the use of capital receipts or grant funding as a way to fund the capital programme going forward. So we haven't been undertaking prudential borrowing over the last few years, because the reason being that as soon as you undertake prudential borrowing, then there's a revenue cost which we have to factor into the revenue account. So to save that cost within the revenue account, we've been using capital receipts and internal borrowing and grants in preference to any potential borrowing for the schemes that have gone forward. And we've been able to contain that existing capital programme within the existing resources that we have. Going forward, if we decide to extend that capital programme, which is what we expect to do, then there will be separate decisions about how that will be financed, which may involve borrowing, potential borrowing, and whatever that may entail into the future.
Sorry, Chairman. So, can I, according to the appendices, there's £152 million in investments at the end of the last quarter, and there's, on average, if one works on the interest, it's paid £91 million in cash. So all that is over and above any internal investments that we have made in anything or not. Or I'm not sure, because the 152 million show that we've invested or loaned money to other councils, and there's money in the banks for more than 6 months, 3 months, it varies. So that's where I'm coming from. So £243 million available, and there's another £150 million we could prudentially borrow if we wanted. I'm not sure, I'm trying to get some background.
Yeah, the 150 million that's referenced is the total amount of cash that we hold. We don't hold it in the bank, so that goes in investments. We try and keep the bank balance down to 0 on a daily basis, because when it's sat in the council's bank account, it doesn't make any interest. So the investments that we make are that 150 million. That is the entirety of the cash balances that we hold. On top of that, we could then borrow further. And if we did choose to borrow, that would be specifically for investment purposes, for economic regeneration or whatever. Clearly, with a cash balance of 150 million, you wouldn't want to be borrowing more money and then up that cash balance to 200 or 300 million. You'd want to be using the cash that's available within those figures and borrowing to supplement that strategy going forward. But it's about understanding what your spending requirements are and then fitting the cash available and the availability of funding to that strategy, not the other way around.
I'll have a conversation.
I was going to say, actually, I think if you could have a conversation outside of here, because it's quite a complicated matter, but we do have some money, but it is all earmarked for various things. Right, can I have my agenda back? Right, so anybody got anything else on the Treasury Management Report? Right.
Could I just
yeah,
say on
push
that?
ahead.
Yeah. I think as we've had a conversation but haven't rounded it off, in simple terms, this is a cash flow exercise. The council holds money that's not ours. In other words, we made payments, which mean they have to be paid out. But what we do is invest all the cash we have, whether it's ours or whether we're holding it for some other purpose, and that's really the cash flow exercise that James is managing. So we're managing all of the cash balances to have everything invested, generating interest wherever we can, all the time, so that we don't keep any of the money that we hold as or other people's in the bank account that doesn't generate any interest. That's what the exercise is all about. It's maximising, not investing money.
And I have already asked the question, are we sure we can't do better than 0.48%? But I'm told that's pretty good for money that's coming and going all the time, rather than, you know, just sat in a bank account for a long time. But I have been asking similar questions. Yeah. But right, so that's accepted as a report then? Okay, thank you. Item 7, Draft Library Services Strategy for Shropshire, 2018-2023. Councillor Picton.
Thank you. Providing a library service is a statutory responsibility of the Council under the Public Libraries and Museums Act 1964. This report seeks approval to consult on a new draft library services strategy for Shropshire. We're very proud of our library service, and this draft strategy reflects our ambition and commitment to continue and provide a high quality service, whilst acknowledging that this is a particularly challenging time for library services. The next 5 years are crucial for the long-term sustainability and success of public library services in Shropshire. Similar to the indoor leisure facilities strategy, this draft strategy sets out a hierarchy of library services provision and describes how the Council will continue to meet its statutory requirements and inform decisions on future investment and revenue support. A 10-week consultation will start, a public consultation will start later in the month. This draft strategy certainly does not set out to close any existing library services, but it does recognise that the Council will need to prioritise where it provides financial support in the future. I'll move the recommendation.
Okay. Ladies first, Pauline.
Thank you. Right, please. Oh, I'll get that one. Yeah. Brilliant, Tom. Maybe change. Yeah, that's it. But I didn't know whether there was going to be any speakers before me, Mr. Mosher. I'm pleased that there are, thank you Leslie, that there are no proposals to close any static libraries, because I'm speaking just for the Wem Library. The staff there, they go the extra mile to make sure that the residents of Wem and the surrounding area are well looked after. They put on all sorts of events for them. So with our ageing population, particularly in my ward, this is an essential service, because they have matter of time, they have Scrabble, they have jigsaw sessions, they have so many things that the staff have put on. And I would just like to make sure that the staff are told what is happening, because sometimes you go in and you speak to them and we've no idea what's going on. I would just like to, sort of put up publicly, state, how well pleased that we are in Wem with the services that we've got, and we hope that it's not diminished in any way at all, because as I say, the staff do go the extra mile, and they do have volunteers that go in and help, and children who love going into the library. There's always children in there, and I think this shows a very healthy atmosphere, and we want to encourage the children to read as much as possible. So I am so pleased that there are no proposals to close any static libraries. And I hope nothing creeps up behind.
Nothing will creep up behind.
That's all right then. But
you will always know from straightforwardly what's going on.
That's wonderful. Yeah. But I just hope that they will let the staff know what's going on.
I know Leslie is trying to get around all the different facilities around, and it's a huge job, and she's talking to as many people as possible, but it is a huge undertaking to talk to everybody. But we're trying to do that.
Could I just say that if ever you come to Wem, I'd love to come with you and walk around and talk about it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, now I think both of you indicated, or certainly Roger, I saw.
Yeah. Do you want to be happy with? Thanks, Jim. Welcome the change in tone of this. Recognise that there is a change in tone. According to how I read it, with advice from other outside bodies, that's resulted in some of the changes. And I notice in Tier 2 and in the area where adjacent to where I represent, and some of my in Ponsbury now, there is a change there. So need to talk with that through with Ponsbury. And thank you for coming on Monday night to the Parish Council, is much appreciated. Ponsbury Library Group meeting tomorrow night, and if you wanted to come or able, then I can do it. And I know that in Ponsbury it costs 53 pence per book. In Shrewsbury it's £1.74 per book. So there is a vast difference, even in the small rural ones, which are the Tier 2. But what concerns me in it as well, and it doesn't go into detail, but of the 354 mobile library stops at present, it's coming down to 277. Quite an explicit number, but the library stops which are not going to be carried out are not listed. And I think in any consultation, if one wants an answer about mobile library stops in the rural areas that we live, need to know which ones are being consolidated, because I see there's not going to be two mobile library stops if they're close together. So I think residents, especially in the rural areas like mine, where we have a lot of mobile library stops, and in the more rural areas, would like to know exactly what the proposals are so they can be commented on. Grown-up comments, because, okay, we notice it, and I understand some mobile library stops, they may have 0 customers. So have to look at that, grown-up comment, but need to know exactly what is being proposed. And I will be interested, because I also see the e-book loans have gone up by 375%. Thank you, Chair.
Sign of the times, Councillor Evans, I think. Yeah, I can confirm that the proposed changes in the draft strategy, and very much this is a draft strategy, the proposed changes to the mobile library is part of the consultation, as I say, which will go out at the end of the week. But I also think it's worth saying that we're constantly refining the mobile library stops, because you're right, in some cases you get 0. In other places it might even be worth them stopping a little bit longer, but we're constantly doing that. But as you say, it will be part of the consultation, so people will know.
Alan?
Water's coming over right.
Well, I'm sure that everybody, and certainly I'm pleased that there is this commitment to maintaining the libraries, and different from the situation, 2.5 years ago, and the financial strategy had other implications. I would just say though, and I'm not going to say any more in public because I've already spoken to Leslie and I'm meeting with you next week, that as far as Shrewsbury Town Council is concerned, we do feel a bit, very let down that there wasn't discussions about this prior to this being published, and because we've been in discussions about it for 2 years, and I've made various proposals that I think would have led to significant opportunities, both in terms of the revenue implications, but also the operational implications of the library in Shrewsbury. I very much hope that we can continue within this framework to some extent, although I'm mindful of what is said on page 33 on the Tier 1 provision. But I hope that we can continue to look at when we've learned what we need to learn about the past, about the way in which we can move forward more fruitfully in terms of some joint ventures in the premises and with the provision. But I'm not going to go into that now.
We will have a conversation, and I've asked Leslie to come along as well. What I would say though, I think we'd welcome the town council responding to this document, saying what they feel should happen and how they feel it could happen in Shrewsbury if they've got ideas. Because we're open-minded and we're prepared to listen to anything. It's a draft consultation, that's what that's about. You know, if the town council respond, we can then consider what's said.
Well, to reply to that, obviously we did give a massive commitment, because based on a vision that we had from 2 years ago that people around here will know about, we did in fact over the last couple of years and moved our headquarters into that building, and that was going to be the first stage of a further transitional part of it, which is currently redundant to some extent. And there were other processes that we discussed, and I think those are still current, and we'd like to further that discussion.
Yeah, and that will take place. I'm not going to say I've got any answers at this stage, but we will certainly talk and consider everything. Right, anybody else? No? Right, so can I assume then that we're happy for the draft library services strategy for Shropshire 2018-2023 goes out for public consultation?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Item 8, Shropshire draft parking strategy. Councillor Steve Davenport.
Leader, Cabinet. Sorry, I should bring that a bit closer. This is put in front of you to agree for public consultation starting on the 22nd of July, and it's for a 10-week period. 10 weeks, we think is enough time. The only thing I would like to do is talk to the town and parish councils. By the way of this, I've spoken to Diane Dorrell, and we're asking them to come here so we can talk to them on block. Also, I don't particularly want to answer too many questions on it at the moment because it is a consultation, and I don't want to preempt any questions that might come forward via the public and press alike. People will be able to respond to this online on the council website or completing a hard copy, which will be in libraries and customer service points or on request. It's a very large paper that was last looked at in 2012, so it's well out of date and we needed to review it. But please look at it and please make comments. Even to me, during the 10-week period, I've already had some which I'll be feeding into the consultation.
Yeah. Pauline?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm really concerned about the costings on here and the way that the fees have jumped up, and then including evening and Saturday charging as well. Because where we are in Wem, and I'm sorry I've been very parochial, we are a small market town, but every so often we get jumped up when it's coming to money. we get put in with the larger market towns, but if we're looking for any grants or anything, they say, oh sorry, no, you're only a small market town, and only like a population of 5,500. I live, and I could declare an interest, but I have got a parking space. I live in the centre of the town. And I have been given a parking space at my church with permission. But there is a constant battle for people to get parking on the off-street parking, and it's becoming quite, it becomes a bit, well not spiteful, but it can become a bit controversial, the way people are parking, because there are so many flats. You know, at the top of my street there's 13 flats. So everybody's fighting over it, and all of them are working. Very, low wage area, and starting to charge them for parking in the evening. So, and whether they will be the sort of people that will respond to this consultation. As a town councillor, and I will come to speak to Salt. As a vice president, I should be there speaking. But I just think the rise from £70, I think it is now a year, up to 120 or 130. It's a big jump. For people who are on a minimum wage.
What I would say is, I'm saying to everyone, and Steve saying, make sure you respond to the document, and you get Wem Town Council to respond to the document, and then we consider all the responses, and we'll see where we go.
Yeah, but my concern is that the people who are going to be affected, whether they will respond or not, that's the big problem, because they're out a bit busy trying to make a living.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Steve?
Yes, we will listen to. I will listen to the town and parish councillors. You know that.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
I mean, what I've said to my group is, please respond. Let us know anything you think doesn't look right, it looks silly or whatever, and we will respond. But I don't want to change the document wholesale. There might be odd tinkering around, but basically, we're trying to have a new strategy to go forward with. Some of it's good, some of it's not so easy, shall we say. But it's what we've got to do as a council to try and get out of some of our financial difficulties. Any other comments? Oh, Alan, and then Roger, and then Steve. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just a question actually. First of all, public services is supplementary to the one that Andy Boddington failed to deliver. But in response to Andy Boddington's question, which was about the revenue that this is bringing in, it is pointed out in the writ large in the strategy that any surplus revenue must be spent on traffic and highways.
We're aware of that.
But and it explains how there will be significant capital expenditure on kit and lineage and research and that sort of thing. But then it also says that any further surplus over and above that will be used to fund public transport services, road improvement projects and environmental improvement. Have you actually calculated the amount of money that will be sort of circulating within parking itself, and what that surplus will be for other measures on a wider scale? And also, is there any sort of consideration that where additional money is raised from, say, Shrewsbury car parking or Wem car parking, then that wider expenditure on the road improvements and public transport will be spent within that area?
Steve.
What I can say is the money raised will be spent on highways and car parks in Topping. Obviously, we all know it needs new machines. One of the main things going to happen, you're going to get linear parking, so you're going to get what you pay for, as opposed to putting a pound in for an 80p's worth of parking. You'll now get a pound's worth of parking. You're going to get smart card payments, not just pounds.
Yeah, this isn't what I asked.
No. What do you want to know? Is
Yes,
the money going to be
it
spent
will.
in the area?
I asked, there's obviously going to be surplus net on the sort of things that you were saying, which will, as said in Andy Boddington, be used to transport public transport, things like that.
Clive's going to have
Is there any
I think the
estimate as
answer
to what
is
that additional surplus will be?
Yeah. Well, then.
And is it envisaged
You'll
that that will be
appreciate
spent?
it's a draft strategy, and we need to get feedback about which options will go forward, and that will determine the basis on which you might calculate if there is any surplus. We are presuming at the moment that this will generate at least as much and probably a surplus, but it depends which route we go down and what the response is. So the answer in essence is we could calculate that once we know precisely what we're doing, and we'll know precisely what we're doing once we've gone through the consultation and then we've come back to decision on exactly what it is we're going to do.
What I would say, the second part where you said, if you raise say £1 million in Shrewsbury, are you going to spend it in Shrewsbury? I won't give that guarantee. You know, it'll be used sensibly for Shropshire. And it might be that we make money out of Wem that we spend somewhere else. You know, it's the same. But yeah, I'm not going to say that if one town raises a certain amount of money, the money will be spent there. We will do the sensible thing with it, which is best for Shropshire.
Okay, so thanks.
Well, quickly, yeah.
Thanks for not answering the question.
Right, Roger.
Well, I was just going to make a point. I mean, clearly there's a lot of concern in Shrewsbury, no doubt other areas, that this will damage business by deterring parking coming into the town through making it more expensive. I don't believe that the extra convenience items will compensate for the quite significant price rises in some bands and in some places. So I hope that you are prepared to be challenged on the impact of the economic growth, because writ large in here you're saying that it's going to improve things in terms of economic growth. You're also going to say that it improves things in terms of traffic management, which means obviously that you're going to deter people from coming into the town centre, because that is the traffic management problems that exist in the area. So you are in fact starting off with a deterrent for people coming into the area, and that will be a way of easing the traffic management problems of the area. That's the logic of the document that no doubt lots of people will pick up on. Not that I necessarily disagree with that and the
I thought that was Labour policy.
the advantageous impact that that might have on air quality and well-being for large numbers of people might be good. But where is that other side of it within this document? This deals with parking. There are some things in the SITP that might improve circulation and routes being taken. But where is that side of it within this document? And on another level, of course, it will also encourage people or drive people to look in residential streets nearby for parking places. And we're talking about, obviously, Castlefield, so I live and represent, Bellevue, Anfield, Church Hill, all the areas that we've, even going up to Cockthorne, all the areas that we are aware of. And yet, in the residents-only parking part of the paper, you're advocating raising the price for vouchers significantly. You're also advocating, and you might not have any discretion in this, you're also advocating rules which significantly reduce the amount of parking that's available for residents on the streets. And so, again, there's going to be considerable disquiet about what this is going to be doing, not just in the town centre, but the spill-off into residential areas all around the town centre.
I welcome your response to the consultation and put it in writing is the best way I can suggest that you do. Roger.
Thank you, Chairman. Alan's covered some of it, what I was going. I'm disappointed that it's a strategy document, but it doesn't say how and where the money is going to be spent. It's very general. It's long been argued that in the small market towns, as well as in Shrewsbury and everywhere else, the money that's raised by parking should assist. It was set up by Shrewsbury and Shropshire County Council a number of years ago, where the park and ride was financed by the on-street parking. There's no reference about that to any money and how it will be done. There's a park and ride supposed to be into Ludlow, and there was a promise made, and it was referenced by Andy in another document to say that the parking charges were going to assist in doing that. To me, this is, and I hate to use the word, especially with the press here, but it's going to kill a lot of the shopping in Shropshire. I know people coming into Shrewsbury now, if they're coming from the west, they may well stay on the M54 and go to that place in the east to do it. That's what we're fighting for. Sunday parking is now going to be charged. You're going to charge it till 8 o'clock at night. Now, in the examples that's shown, there's only one that's charged after 6 o'clock. Are we going to hit the evening economy, the early evening economy, not the late night where the drinking economy or anything like that? We're going to hit the people who come out early to have a meal in Shrewsbury or anywhere else to park. Shopping destination, Shrewsbury. I think it will really well affect it. If I had shares in Mealbrace Retail Park, I'd be clapping my hands at this because of what it will affect and the more trade it will push my way, because people will not go into Shrewsbury to pay. And resident parking, I see the season tickets for the central area are going to be abolished. So we're going to be charging there linearly, however the word is said. You're going to charge that. So the 15-minute or 25-minute is now going to stop. So it just does not make sense if one wants to take Shrewsbury forward and the market towns.
I look forward to seeing your written response to the document so we can consider things. David, next.
Thank you, Leader. I just want to talk about consultation. I welcome consultation on this. The strategy, the draft strategy is comprehensive and the devil's in the detail. Some aspects of it are very welcome. Being able to pay by using a mobile phone will be welcome when there's a phone signal. It's very important in my view that local perspective is given appropriate consideration. Not trying not to have full, being broker again, not trying not to have full car parks, two of which really have more than a handful of cars. Contrary to when, at night they're empty and the streets are jam-packed with cars. Increasing charges isn't going to raise any more revenue, and the car parks are empty at present, and I'm sure that will come out in the consultation. Improving access and signage and a range of other measures will help, but dealing with charging in isolation won't. there are pricing increases will, sensible increases or structures will increase car park use and income for our streets. I'm concerned from the point of view of consultation that we're doing this in August. Many town councils don't meet in August. Many parish councils, of course, only meet every other month, and it's really important this full engagement with the public. So I'm really urging everybody to get this out and ensure that town and parish councils go in and take up the offer from SALC as well. If we don't handle this correctly, the council's income will not increase, and the vitality of our high streets will deteriorate. We'll have even more cars parked on footways and grass verges. I think there is a positive outcome here, but we're going to have to work quite hard at it. Thank you.
I would agree. I'm thinking about the consultation. It's 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
So we're middle of July now, so it will include the end of September. So, I mean, I don't know whether we put a date on it, but I think we can safely say up to the end of September, we're happy to accept responses. So that should give the town councils the opportunity to respond. Steve, do you want to come back?
Yes, I've always said this. I'm very much in favour. Well, I want town and parish council to be involved in everything. Prior, a couple of weeks ago, I spoke to Diane Dorrell, so I'm in conversation with her to make that happen. We keep saying it is a consultation, which is what it is. We will be listening. The only thing I'd like to add that possibly isn't in the consultation is the possibility of electric charging points, because I think it's very important. And I'd like to know, if the press are here, they can include that in any report, because I'd like to have the feedback on that. As you know, there's lots of green issues, there's lots of electric cars coming forward, and if we want to keep our town centre as smoke-free as we possibly can, I'd like to have that included.
Right. So, any other comments, or we accepted that strategy goes out for public consultation? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Item 9, economic growth strategy. Nick Lawrence.
Well, after two
Can you
draft,
use the mic?
sorry, after two draft strategies, it's nice to have one that's gone through the process that we can bring back to cabinet. And I have to say, it's a really thorough, good document. For anybody who's read through, and also the appendix of the feedback and the you said we did, you'll identify that we made contact with a lot of stakeholders in the business community. We had a good number of high quality responses. We didn't get as many as we would like, and I would urge, going back to the previous things about car parking and library, that people should respond, people should give feedback, because we do listen and we do implement. The good things that I take from this is, for somebody who's been in post since January, I have to point out that Gemma Davis has done a remarkable job in putting this together to get us to the position we're in, and I think credit should be paid to her by Cabinet. The feedback report gives a lot of detail about the issues that we have as a county, and part of that is, I've found this for years and years, before being a councillor, when involved with the Chamber of Commerce, the biggest thing that comes back is we need people to fill the vacancies. And there's a big part of this report that is geared around that, in working with the further education colleges, the universities, and I see that as a big, big plus for the economic growth of this county. We can have all the ambitions we like, but unless we've got the people to come in and do these jobs, we will not be successful. Going forward, there will be more papers coming through on this, and there will be monitoring of this. And it's great to see, because I'm actually looking that this is more like a commercial organisation where you have key business objectives and we report back on them on a regular basis. And it's exciting times for Shropshire. This document is the start of us saying that we are open for business. And that is something I would like the press to really push. We're going to be strategic about what we do, how we do it, and how we deliver. But Shropshire really is open for business. Recommend it to the Cabinet.
Comments? Right. Oh, Steve.
Yeah, just a quick point, really, Chair. It's, having been involved with this from the start and the scoping of the original document, I'm just very pleased to see where it's got to, and endorse everything that Nick has said, and the work that Gemma's put into this especially. It is really is notable. I just wanted to endorse what you said and say I think it's a good document for Shropshire, certainly a good document for the council.
Steve?
Yes, I worked with this with Nick when I was chair of Enterprise and Growth Scrutiny and with Gemma, and it just shows the way we want to go forward as the council.
Yeah, well, I'm pushing the economic growth agenda as much as I can. I think it's an excellent document. The proof will be over the next few years in what it actually delivers. It says the right things. What we've got to make sure now is actually that it delivers the right things. But yeah, I welcome the document. I think it's a good document. Right. Everyone happy with it?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Item 10, update on future swimming provision in Shrewsbury. Leslie?
Thank you, Chair. Members will recall that back last September a report was brought to Cabinet stating that the Council's preferred option for the new swimming provision in Shrewsbury was at Shrewsbury Sports Village. As part of that process, due to the public interest in retaining a swimming pool within the town centre, we put out, excuse me, organisations or interested organisations were asked if they wanted to put forward a business case for retaining it within the town centre. 2 expressions of interest were received, and they were given a deadline of this October, late October, to come back with their full business cases. However, in light of changes to both the council administration and I think it would be fair to say the amount of public opinion, this report actually seeks to stop that process because we feel that we need to undertake a further review and look at this situation again. And especially in fairness to the organisations who were putting in expressions of interest, we don't want them to be spending money unnecessarily, which will they inevitably would have to do so to provide a full business case. So this report seeks to stop the process. The project to replace or upgrade the current swimming provision in Shrewsbury is a major decision for this council and for the residents of Shrewsbury and Shropshire, and I really believe it's one we must get absolutely right. So I would like to ask you to approve this report, stop the process and allow us to take it at a further review and bring back another report later on in the year.
For the avoidance of doubt, the recommendations are on page 249 and over the page on 250, and I'm quite happy to second it. My position on the matter is very clear. Roger?
Yeah. Only a quick one, Chairman. It's recommendation C and recommendation D. From what I understand, going to look at, going to come back to Cabinet. However, there, in D it said detailed implementation delegated to the officer and the portfolio holder. I presume that will be after then Cabinet makes a further decision on it, or not. It's just a combination of the two.
I think what we're saying is we will leave it to them to sort out how the public consultation is organised and how, not the decision making, it's just how they organise the talking to everybody. Okay, right, everyone content with that report? Okay, thank you very much. Right, item 11 is exclusion of the present public. We do have some very confidential items, and I'm quite happy from the chair to move that we should exclude the public and the press from the rest of the meeting. Okay, that's seconded. Everyone in favour? Can you show just so we're clear? Right, thank you.